Until he saw the mole and the cesarean scar on the woman's chest, the CEO finally realized that his wife, who had been dead for 13 years, was actually still alive. But he had watched his wife get into a car accident right in front of his own eyes. Seeing his reaction, the woman told him the whole truth of what had happened back then. 13 years earlier, she had just dropped her son and daughter off at kindergarten when a car suddenly sped toward her and struck her. She died on the spot. After she died, she fell into an empty void, where she saw the future of her family. 13 years later, her husband would die from grief after losing her. Their daughter would be pushed into the water and drowned by her boyfriend. And even her always obedient son would end up in prison for breaking the law. The woman could not accept such a tragic fate for her whole family. She lunged toward the vision ahead, and unexpectedly traveled through time to 13 years in the future. At that moment, her husband was still alive, and all those tragedies had not happened yet. Since she appeared out of nowhere, her husband was startled at the sight of her. She told him she was his wife, but he insisted his wife had been dead for 13 years and could never come back to life. No matter how the woman explained herself, the man was convinced she had gotten plastic surgery to look like his wife, hoping to get close to him. So he had ordered the butler to throw her out. Soon afterward, the CEO received a phone call from his mother. His mother asked how things had gone with the girl he was supposed to meet for a blind date. The CEO mistakenly thought the woman he had just encountered was the blind date his mother arranged, and replied that he had already sent her away. His mother was desperate for him to let go of his late wife. She ordered the CEO to meet the woman again at a restaurant that night without fail. Reluctantly, the CEO agreed. Just then, he heard the woman's voice once more. It turned out she had been waiting outside the door, trying to prove she was his wife. She brought up private memories only the two of them shared, and even described every detail of her pregnancies and the births of their children. The CEO was stunned speechless. He assumed his mother had told the woman all of these secrets. Impatiently, he told her they could talk more at the restaurant that night. The woman was completely confused. She had no idea which French restaurant he was talking about. Still, she showed up at the restaurant to prove her identity as his wife. However, her arrival only made the CEO more certain she was the blind date set up by his mother. To make her stop pestering him, he pulled out $2 million and demanded she take the money and leave. Seeing that her husband still refused to believe her, the woman suggested running a DNA test using her hair and their children's hair, but the CEO tossed her hair onto the ground directly. He firmly believed his wife could never return from the dead. Then he turned and left without looking back. The next day, the woman went to her daughter's school to ask for a strand of her hair. As soon as she walked through the school gate, she spotted a thug beside her daughter. She immediately stepped forward to confront the thug. Her daughter suddenly pushed her away and said the thug was her boyfriend. The woman was utterly shocked. She remembered this was the boyfriend who would cause her daughter's death, so she had secretly followed them to a cafe. Inside the cafe, the thug and his friend put on an act. They lied to the girl, claiming his father was sick and needed a huge sum of money for surgery.